If you'll forgive me a moment of personal reflection, there is something of a love story between me and the Alpine A110. We first drove the car in the south of France in some pretty snowy conditions, and I fell head over heels in love. Then, when we had the car for some time in the UK, the story didn't change one bit. If anything, I was more in love with it than ever before. We loved its fun driving style, the great looks, and the return to a driving engagement that it tried to bring. We even loved its little 4-cylinder engine. It managed to make a good sound while providing not too much and not too little power. So, when Alpine announced there was going to be another A110 with, well, more power, we were a little sceptical.
You see, to us at least, the A110 seemed almost perfect. And the only reason I say almost perfect is because who knows what perfect actually is. The question here isn't, could the Alpine A110 be any faster? Because it has a little 1.8 litre 4-cylinder engine producing around 250 horsepower, and it'll hit 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. Of course it could be faster. The question really is, did it ever need to be? Well, adding more power and making it faster is exactly what Alpine have done. And they've done it with this, the brand new Alpine A110S. Down the back there, you'll still find the same turbocharged 1.8 litre 4-cylinder engine you found in the original car, except now the turbocharger is a little bit bigger. So rather than producing 250 horsepower, we've got nearly 300, or 292 if you want to be precise. Underneath, you've got stiffer springs, there's stiffer dampers, there's new anti-roll bars. It's got lightweight 18-inch alloys, it's running on Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tyres, and it's got a carbon fibre roof for a little bit of extra weight saving. In reality, it weighs no less than the original car. With all those changes, you might be expecting me to reveal an incredible new 0 to 60 time, but in reality, it's changed by just 0.1 of a second. And to all intents and purposes, it looks exactly the same. You've got some vivid orange calipers. There's some little orange splashes every now and then. And other than that, it's the same car, which is no bad thing. The original A110 was a car that makes you drive through town and stare into shop windows as you pass, just to watch yourself drive it. But at the end of the day, if everything's the same, was it worth the change? When you jump into the A110S, you'll struggle to know the difference. Yes, there's a couple of orange flashes all over the place, and there's some rather nice orange stitching to match those calipers on the outside, but to all intents and purposes, this is the interior of an Alpine A110. It's got a couple of, Renault bin parts to save a little bit of money, and it all looks very nice, but there wasn't really anything they were planning on doing with the interior. What they were planning on doing was changing it in other ways. And that story continues when you start it up. It sounds like an Alpine A110, it moves off like an Alpine A110, it's easy to drive. But the truth is, this car was always in the pipeline from the very beginning. Alpine say they didn't make this car to fix errors in the original car because they don't think there are many. They always planned to make a slightly more hardcore version of the A110 for those people who want to take it on a track, for those people who like to go as fast as they absolutely can. Now that's what this car does. You do notice a difference in the A110S when you put it into sport mode, and you do that by pushing this rather fetching sport button on the steering wheel, same as the normal car. And there's no more torque in the A110S than there is in the standard car, but there is more power. You're talking 300 horsepower rather than 250, and that power continues to come in for an extra 400 revs, so you can feel it rev out a little bit longer. With the amount of stiffening that's gone into the A110S, it's always going to feel a little bit firmer on the road, and that's exactly what it does. But that is what you are going to have for a more performance-orientated car. In the corners, it feels it's lost a little bit of that fun that came with the Alpine A110. It's a little harder to get the back end to join in, but it feels a little bit more precise than before. This is a tool rather than a machine for just having fun. But that's not to say that this is a bad car or that it's not enjoyable to drive. The base Alpine A110 is so good that you would have to do something catastrophic to make it not enjoyable to drive. And all they've done here is stiffen it up a little bit and make it a bit more ready for the track. So if you really want that, if you want an A110 that's going to go fast and you want to take it onto a track and be fast rather than just having a lot of fun all the time, then this is exactly the car for you. The thing is, it just doesn't make it the car for me.
At the end of the day, the A110S is still an extraordinary thing. There aren't many cars around that feel as engaging as this, or for me that look quite so damn cool. Actually, I think there is one. It's the Alpine A110. So should you buy an A110S over the Alpine A110? I wouldn't. I love the playfulness, the sheer joy of the A110. It's a car that stole my heart in ways not many others have. I would much rather spend my days with a grin from over-exuberance than a sheet of quick lap times. But then this car is not built for me. It's built for people who do want to set lap times, but then do want a little taste of that Alpine engagement on the way home. If you want the looks, want some fun, then this is the car for you. Just make sure you know what you want before you buy.